Hey guys, what's happening with you? This is the Lewis Sabin Video Podcast, and as always, we are brought to you as a huge thank you to Joe Rogan and the JRE, Joe Rogan and his podcast. Without him, I would have never thought about trying this, and yeah, pretty much that's how that works. His podcast is amazing. He's got some great guests that are usually on. iTunes has been really fussy with me lately, so I haven't been able to listen to him. So I'm not sure who all is been on. The last podcast that keeps popping up, and it's kind of pissing me off because I know he's made more since then, is the one with Donald Cerrone, which I have not listened to yet. He, of course, is the number one lightweight contender in the UFC. We are also brought to you as a huge thanks to Science. The only energy drink I drink. The whole reason I ever started doing Science is because most of the people I talk to have never heard of them. And I figured, you know what, I'll give them a little shout out. They are fantastic. Sugar-free, 0 calories, no crash, no jitters. It tastes delicious, unlike most of the other crap you're going to be drinking. This is mango guava, one of the 3 flavors you can get at most Meijers. Pretty much every Meijer I've been to, I've been able to find the 3 they carry, which really blows because Meijer need to step the fuck up and get some of the real flavors in. Not to say the ones that they have there are bad. It's just that after a while of going to Meijer, you get sick of those 3 because they're the only 3 they have. There are better flavors out there. I know this because I drink a lot of Science. But the reason I started doing this is, they didn't really have any advertising. They do now. Actually, I just got an update from them on Facebook. I had to open it because I knew I would never remember this. Samantha Ponder, Christian Ponder's wife, she works for ESPN, I think, is now evidently a spokesperson, and there's a sweepstakes going on where you can enter to go to a football game in Arizona on ESPN, it seems, which is pretty cool. I won't lie to you about that. That's pretty awesome. So you may noticed I was bumping it. The top of this one and the sides all beat up. That's because I dropped it. I actually know how but I dropped it. Unlike usual, where Meyer probably drop kicked it. No, I actually dropped this one. Although it wouldn't have surprised me if a bunch of their cans looked like that. If you looked at the dog food lately, there's giant holes in the side. Not holes, just giant dents. They're bent almost in half. Pretty sure they just drop kick stuff because why should they care? Alright. We're going to be covering, as usual, because it's Thursday, I'm going to try to start doing 2 again on here. Try my best. The NCAA football rankings, the NCAA schedule, NFL schedule. I'm going to cover NASCAR chase because it's at the other piece of it, if you will. I'm not going to go real in-depth with it. I haven't watched any of it. And there's also going to be a real special thing because it is the season. Starts up, I believe, tonight. I haven't looked at it yet. I'll cover a different schedule you guys will enjoy. I also want to cover a little bit of news, one piece that I want to talk about. All right, let's crack this baby open. Okay, so the news thing I'll cover first, and it deals with something that's going to be coming up here pretty soon. So it's 2015. The political race is heating up. Right now we still don't know who all is going to be running because we haven't gotten the endorsements yet from, the actual parties. At the moment for the Democrats, the only 2 names that have really come out are Hillary Clinton and Barry Sanders. For the Republicans, you have a bunch of dumbasses and nutty people. I'm looking at you, Ted Cruz. You fall under both of those categories. In the case of just simple dumbasses, that would be the obvious one, Jeb Bush. Why would you want to bring another Bush? Anyway. And of course, there's the big name, Trump, who, sadly, I know quite a few people who are going to vote for him. I think it's a terrible idea. I think he's a great businessman. I think he understands business-wise how things happen. But I think he's an idiot. Main reason, I saw an interview with him. It's not just because I don't like him, I'm a Democrat. No, I understand where some people, politically where they sit. He doesn't sit anywhere. Well, how does this go? In an interview, they asked him, I believe it was with ABC, either ABC or CBS. They asked him, how you plan on working with the financial sector, and trying to improve jobs. Oh, it'll just happen when I get here. Oh, it's just going to happen. Okay. How do you plan on working on trade and other economic situations that you're going to be placed in as president if you become president? Oh, it'll just work. I see. Is that how it works at the Trump Towers and everything? It just works. I see. Yeah. Have you looked at Congress lately? How many things have they passed in the last 6 years? One bill, maybe? I'm, of course, blowing that out of proportion, but they don't know how to make decisions. The House can't make decisions. So, you're going to have to make some. Which I know you've done. But at the same time, some of those decisions are going to be a little more difficult than what suit you need to wear today. And I don't think he can do it. That's one of the reasons I vote. I want to cancel out one of those dumbasses. I'm not sure who I'm voting for at the moment. It's going to probably be Barry. He's not as out there as Hillary is. Hillary has been worrying me lately with some of the things that have been going on and some of the things that she said. But, Barry, not so much. He's kind of more level-headed, I guess would be the way to put it. He's been in politics forever. And he just gets it. And he knows that there's something wrong with it and it needs to be fixed. So that's probably who I'm going to vote for at the moment anyway, unless some third-party candidate comes out and is amazing. Then, I'll have to see who that person is. Okay. Back to the thing I'm 100% good at talking about because, well, we've done quite a few of these now. The ESPN college rankings. All this information that I'm about to share with you, with the exception of NASCAR, which I know pisses people off when I cover that, but you know what? It's almost the end of the year. I'm just going to cover some of their shit. It is technically a sport. I don't really know. But whatever. This is all coming from ESPN. This is their football rankings, the AP Top 25. Most of these games, I believe, will be Saturday as usual. We'll cover the schedule next. All right, so number 1 is still Ohio State. Number 2 is Texas Christian University. 3rd is Baylor. 4th is Michigan State. 5th is Utah. 6th is Clemson. 7th is LSU. 8th is Alabama. 9th is Texas A&M. 10th is Oklahoma. 11th is Florida. 12th is Florida State. 13th is Northwestern. 14th is Ole Miss. 15th, Notre Dame. 16th, Stanford. 17th, USC. 18th, Michigan. 19th, Georgia. 20th, UCLA. 21st, Oklahoma State. 22nd is Iowa. 23rd is California. 24th is Toledo. And 25th is Boise State. Now to explain some of the rankings. Okay, so Notre Dame lost last weekend against Clemson. It was a heartbreak game. But, they played their hearts out. They tried. Nothing you can do. But I'd like to point out the continual The only way I can explain it is that they must be, I don't even know how to explain it anymore. I once had an explanation, and now I'm just confused. You'll notice Alabama is 8th. They're 4-1. You know who else is 4-1? Pretty much everybody after Ole Miss at 14. So why aren't they ranked down there? I'll tell you why. Because it's Alabama, and we can't put them where there's the other people, because we're not supposed to do that. We were supposed to pat them on the back for losing games and put them like 6th. Oh, you're 4-6? Oh, we'll still have you in like the top 25. We'll put you somewhere. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm sick of it. And everyone evidently threw Notre Dame into that segment too. And those people deserve to be hit over the head with concrete, because Notre Dame's been getting screwed the last I've been on this planet coming up on 21 years. And for about the last 18 or so, we've been getting screwed. So don't even. But yeah. All right, here comes the schedule. So tonight, Thursday, October 8th, is SMU at Houston and Washington at number 17, University of Southern Cal. Friday, October 9th, is Southern Mississippi versus Marshall and NC State versus Virginia Tech. Saturday, October 10th, Duke at Army, New Mexico State at number 14, Ole Miss, UTEP at Florida International, Mid-Tennessee at Kentucky, or Western Kentucky, I apologize, Illinois at number 22, Iowa, number 3, Baylor at Kansas, number 10, Oklahoma at Texas, Maryland at number 1, Ohio State, Indiana at Penn State, Tulane at Temple, scroll up a second, Central Michigan at Western Michigan. That should be a good game for us here in Michigan, just because. I'll cover that in a second. Virginia at Pittsburgh, Miami of Ohio at Ohio. Isn't that confusing? UMass at Bowling Green, Rice at Florida Atlantic, Wake Forest at Boston College, Akron at Eastern Michigan, Kent State at number 24, Toledo. Scroll up again. Appalachian State at Georgia State, Ball State at Northern Illinois, Georgia Tech at number 6, Clemson, number 7, LSU at South Carolina, number 19, Georgia at Tennessee, Syracuse at South Florida, Navy at number 15, Notre Dame, number 13, Northwestern at number 18, Michigan, Wisconsin at Nebraska, Minnesota at Purdue, Iowa State at Texas Tech, Kentucky at the University of Central Florida, Oregon State at Arizona, Troy at Mississippi State, Portland State at North Texas, Washington State at Oregon, Louisiana Monroe at Tulsa, number 25, Boise State at Colorado State, Texas State at Louisiana Lafayette, New Mexico at Nevada, Arkansas at number 8, Alabama, Louisiana Tech at Texas San Antonio, number 21, Oklahoma State at West Virginia, number 2, Texas Christian University at Kansas State, number 11, Florida at Missouri, East Carolina at Brigham Young, Miami of Florida is at number 12, Florida State, number 4, Michigan State is at Rutgers, San Jose State is playing UNLV at UNLV. Colorado is at Arizona State. Number 23, California is playing at number 5, Utah. Wyoming is at Air Force. And Utah State is at Fresno State. Oh, sorry, there's one more game. San Diego State at Hawaii. That's all the games college-wise for this week. Now, the games I'm interested in, I'm probably going to end up watching Michigan State at Rutgers, just because it's on at 8, and it's a game I know I can get. Might watch the Florida State game. Everett Golson's actually having a good year, which is surprising. TCU, that's Texas Christian. I know I don't normally say TCU on here. I don't know. I might watch that. We keep scrolling on up the schedule here. I knew I said I'd talk about a couple games. Okay, number 13, Northwestern at number 18, Michigan. That's on at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's going to be a hell of a game. Northwestern's really been playing well lately, and so is Michigan. They've shut out back-to-back teams. And you know what? I think that's going to be one of the big games to watch this weekend, and it's going to be difficult because it's battling right up against the big game for my team, which is, of course, Navy. And that's the longest, it's kind of cool to tell people this, it's the longest uninterrupted rivalry in college sports. Notre Dame Navy. It has been uninterrupted for, I think it said, since the 1800s or something like that. It's pretty impressive. A lot of people, it's because I live in Michigan, everyone likes to argue that Michigan's the longest thing. But Michigan, has had some off years. And what I mean by that is, they've not off. I don't mean the team itself. I'm referring to against certain rivals, per se. They haven't played them. For instance, us. Oh, there's talk to bring the Notre Dame-Michigan game back, which I wouldn't mind to see. I always thought that game was worth watching. It was a fun game to watch. It's one of the few times I got to argue with the rest of my family because they're all Michigan fans, and I'm not. Okay, another game I'd like to talk about. Georgia Tech at number 6 Clemson. That should be a good game because, Clemson really stood up when they played Notre Dame. They showed that their defense is pretty crisp. They got a hell of an offense. But I'm interested to see what they do against Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech has got a pretty good quarterback too, much like Clemson. They also run out of that triple option, which is very difficult to stop. I'm not saying they'll win. I'm just saying it's hard to. My best example of that is last year Ohio State Navy, and they fell in the rankings after this win. Navy got beat by Ohio State, but they rushed for 100 yards, and that was everybody's huge reason for sending Ohio State down the rankings was, they gave up 100 yards. It's Navy. It's like Georgia Tech. You're going to give up 100 yards, probably. All they do is run. They don't throw the ball. So, what do you expect? But it should be a good game. I'm going to be interested in it. And the big one for me, as I said, was Central Michigan at Western Michigan. That's on at 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN 3. So I'm probably not going to be able to watch that. I don't know if I get the third ESPN. I'll have to look. But Central Michigan and Western Michigan are two of the medium size. I like to say medium because everyone says small college. Well, they're not a small college. They're a medium college. A small college would be like Georgia Southern or trying to come up with another one that's not here in Michigan, and I can't. Like a community college. That would be a small college. These guys are medium. They're considered a university, but you're kind of a joke when you're playing them if you're not in their conference. What I mean by that is, they play like Penn State and Michigan, and you go, well, if you beat them, that'd be awesome, but are you going to? Probably not. But the two of them are playing against each other. That's going to be a great game, I think. To me anyway, I'm going to say it's going to be a great game. Michigan, Central or Western? I think here. Which team's going to pull that out? Based on the Michigan State game, which is the only Western game I've seen, I'm going to go ahead and say Western probably beat Central. They have a pretty good team this year. So, hopefully pull that out. Oh, before I move on to NFL, I have been corrected by about 9 people now. I mistakenly said that LSU plays in Death Valley. I was wrong. It's Clemson. Clemson plays in Death Valley. I don't know why I said that. Because I later watched it and I was like, you sure I didn't say Clemson? And everyone's like, no, you said LSU. So I watched it afterwards. I don't normally do that. And yeah, I screwed up. I said LSU plays in Death Valley. My bad. I don't get everything right all the time. I just know things. And I guess I said that. I guarantee you I was thinking Clemson, but evidently my mouth said something else. That's not uncommon. Or, when I was in school, it was the other way around. My mouth said something completely different ahead of my head. I had to think before I spoke because I couldn't just say whatever I wanted. As much as I wanted to. Okay. So the NFL schedule for week 5, that's this week, tonight, because it is Thursday, October 8th. This is why I do these on Thursday. Well, one of them on Thursday. I try to do it Mondays and Thursdays. Mondays to update things, and Thursdays to do this. Lately, there's been stuff going on, so I haven't been able to do that. I'm doing it on Thursday only. Or I think I did Friday last time. I'm trying to get a perfect schedule to do Mondays and Thursdays, but some stuff's going on around here, and it's been difficult to do that. So, Thursday, October 8th, that's today. Tonight at 8:25 p.m. Eastern, Indianapolis Colts are playing at the Houston Texans. That is, of course, the NFL game, for those who haven't caught up with me yet. Sunday, October 11th, Chicago plays at Kansas State. Seattle plays at Cincinnati. Washington plays at Atlanta. Jacksonville plays at Tampa Bay. New Orleans plays at Philadelphia. Cleveland plays at Baltimore. And the St. Louis Rams are playing at Green Bay. Buffalo plays at Tennessee. Arizona plays at Detroit. New England plays at Dallas. Denver plays at Oakland. And the night game, Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, San Francisco 49ers play at New York. That'd be the Giants. The Monday night game is Pittsburgh at San Diego. That should be a good game. And let me see. And the teams that are currently on a bye: Miami, Minnesota, the Jets, and Carolina. So let's cover this real quick. I don't like to normally do this because then I get accused of, you picked this team and they lost, haha. It's like, well, no, I said who I thought would win. It's not a prediction. It's just, it is. Don't quote me on anything I say. I'm usually wrong. Sadly. Normally I'm right. This past year, as my fantasy team will show, I've been getting screwed. I haven't been able to pick anything correctly, I guess. But you know what? It's one of those years. It's been a crazy, crazy, crazy year so far. But all right, let's do this. So for tonight, Indianapolis at Houston. Last I heard, Andrew Luck is playing. Now, that's all fine and dandy. However, they're playing against Houston, who has a very tough defense. So, I'm going to go with Indianapolis because I think Indianapolis' defense is better than Houston's offense. Houston's offense is terrible. It's just downright terrible. It sucks. But Indianapolis hasn't been playing so hot either. But I think Indianapolis' defense is better than Houston's offense. Indianapolis' offensive line, not very good. They got a pretty good quarterback, but they just haven't been producing. It's been kind of sad to watch. But you know what? Hopefully they're able to pull off and win. But I say Indianapolis beats Houston. All right, Sunday, Chicago at Kansas City. Battle of the two horribles. Depends on who's starting for Chicago. If it's still Jimmy Clausen, Chicago loses. If it's Cutler, Chicago has a chance. That defense. I'm going to go ahead and say Kansas State wins. Their offense hasn't been playing well, but their defense has. And Chicago sucks. So, all the way around. I mean, their defense isn't that good either. So, I'll go ahead and say Kansas City wins. Seattle at Cincinnati. Cincinnati beats Seattle. Washington and Atlanta. Atlanta wins. Hands down. Washington blows this year. As per usual. Jacksonville at Tampa Bay. Jacksonville. I'll go ahead and take the crazy route and do that. New Orleans at Philadelphia. The speed of that Philadelphia team, yeah, they got good speed. They got an okay quarterback in Bradford. Last I heard, Breeze will be starting for New Orleans. I'm going to go ahead and say New Orleans wins. I was just thinking about their defense. New Orleans, I'm not real sure what their defense looks like. I know they have Brandon Browner as a cornerback. He's a big guy. For those who don't know who that is, he's a corner. He played for Seattle, and he helped them win the Super Bowl. He's a big guy. He also played. Where did he end up going after that? I think he went to New England, and they won a Super Bowl. And now he's with New Orleans. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say New Orleans. Philadelphia's defense is okay, but their secondary is not so tight. They got issues there. They really don't have a great defensive line. They have good linebackers, though. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yep, New Orleans, based on the defensive play. I think Philadelphia is going to be able to put up points, but I think Brandon Cooks and the run game is going to burn them. Cleveland at Baltimore. Again, I got to ask the question of who's starting. I'm not sure. If it's Johnny Manziel, which I doubt, they have a chance. If it's what's the other guy's name? I always think Brandon Whedon, but that's not right. He's in Dallas now. The old guy. Crap, I gotta Google this. Hang on. Josh McCown. If it's Josh McCown, they lose. I'm just double checking something real quick. That's a good question to ask. I'll read that off. So, sorry, I'm quickly reading off Google, just some of the results that I've got. Trying to figure out who's, starting. And, it looks like McCown's starting. So they'll probably lose. But there's a good question on here. It says, will Johnny Manziel become the Browns' starting quarterback before the Week 11 bye? Their bye on, Week 11. And, I'm not sure. That's a great question. That's from Cleveland.com. It's posted 2 days ago. I think it would be smart to put Johnny Manziel as your starter. And I don't like Johnny Manziel. But you know what? He's really matured. He's really pulled his head out of his ass. And I'm starting to not have a problem with him. He's really figured out that, he was a dick. And the way he was playing blew. And he's really grown and worked with the team. And even his teammates are saying, you know what, we like this new Johnny. He's not partying. He's showing up to practice. He's showing up to film room. It's nice. He's sitting down and he's really trying to figure out how to win some games. So I'm hopeful for him. But they are playing Baltimore, and Baltimore, of course, has Flacco. Steve Smith is out. If only that was for a longer stint of time. They ended up getting Givens, I believe, Chris Givens, from... Give me a second. The Rams. They gave him like a 6th rounder or something like that, conditional pick, because they had to give him something. For Givens. So they got the run game. But if the Browns can somehow figure out, they got a decent defense. I mean, personnel-wise. I don't know how they're playing. I don't get to watch them because of the NFL's new broadcasting deal, which I have been raising hell about. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Not cool. If I like to watch whatever game I want, not the ones that we're going to broadcast to you, which is ridiculous, especially because I haven't missed a Cowboys game yet. And you know what? I hate the Cowboys. I don't want to watch the Cowboys. I don't want to watch anybody else. I had to miss a freaking Packers game because we'd rather air the Cowboys. Don't give a shit about the Cowboys. I want to watch the Packers. A team that's actually in my area. Ridiculous. So I haven't been able to watch any games from Cleveland. But I know personnel-wise, their defense is pretty good. Baltimore's is pretty good. They're missing a huge piece. When I say it's Suggs that's missing, I always screw this up. Let me Google it a second. I think it's Terrell Suggs. That's out. Injury report. Oh, that sucks. So I'll read it off. Baltimore injured right now. Chris Conte, he's a defensive lineman. He did not practice. He's out with a calf injury. Crockett Gilmore out with a calf. Eugene Monroe, tackle. He's out with a concussion. Rashad Perryman's out with a knee. Steve Smith's out with his back. I'm going to screw this guy's name up because I've only read it like twice. Lorenzo Talaferro, something like that. Running back. He's out with a foot injury. And Marshall Yanda, guard tackle, is out with an ankle injury. But where's the guy that's out forever? Hang on. It's only giving me people who are currently injured. It's not giving me the actual 100% huge injuries list. This means I have to go to the roster. I'm pretty sure it's Terrell Suggs that's out. Damn it, stop. Taking me to random pages. It's not telling me. I'm 90% certain that it's Terrell Suggs that's out. He screwed up it was either his ACL or his MCL, I believe. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Anyway, St. Louis at Green Bay. So no one told me. Thank you, ESPN. I'm really freaking happy with you right now. Didn't tell me that Todd Gurley was playing again. They told me he was out still. So I was like, I won't play him. They're playing at Green Bay, so now it really won't matter. It would have been nice. I'd have gotten some points because, I have Todd Gurley. They're playing at Green Bay. Green Bay hasn't lost at home in forever. So St. Louis, no matter who you have, it's not going to matter. It's Green Bay. Arizona at Detroit. Arizona beats Detroit. They got too many weapons. We don't. We don't have any. So, there you go. New England at Dallas. As much as I don't care about that game, New England probably beats them because it's New England. Also because Dallas has a terrible, terrible quarterback in the name of Brandon Weeden. He hasn't thrown the ball past 25 yards. What I mean by that is he keeps throwing underneath, which is great, but you got to be able to throw the ball downfield, and he actually cannot. He doesn't have any arm strength. Proof, watch any game he ever played ever in Cleveland. You'll notice pretty much all those games with the exception of like 1 or 2 are losses. Denver at Oakland. A lot of people are probably going to say, oh, of course it's going to be Denver. But you know what? Oakland's one of my sleeper teams this year. They have a lot of potential. I'm going to go ahead and say Oakland beats Denver. I think that'll be a hell of a game. I definitely want to watch it. If they'll broadcast it, I doubt it. Because it's a good game, so why would we dare want to show people? Ridiculous. San Francisco at the Giants. All right, let's think about this a minute. So, I'm going to take an educated guess and say Victor Cruz is probably still out. Actually, let me figure that out. Last I heard, he was still out. Of course, you got to give me gossip about him. I don't really care because, I have testicles, so it's not that big of a deal to me. Or about something he did with his fiance. Don't care. I have testicles. News like that is useless to me. Okay. So, October 7th, Victor Cruz did not practice. So that was yesterday. Most likely not going to play. Calf officially out for week 4 after calf injection. So he's probably not playing. So that leaves Odell Beckham Jr. I say you get rid of Victor Cruz and trade him away. Reason, he hasn't played. He's just wasting away on the bench. And obviously he's too stupid to not show up to anything. So just get rid of him. But San Francisco doesn't have anything either. So, I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know if JPP's playing either in his one hand. Well, actually, he only has one finger. I apologize. I said hand. I meant finger. He lost his finger in a firework accident, which I find tragic and funny at the same time. Why do I find that tragic and funny? Tragic because it sucks. He's a pretty good player. Funny because what jackass monkeys with fireworks and blows off a finger. You're like 28 years old. 28 or 29. Don't you know that you shouldn't be doing that? At the age of 6, I knew not to do that. Okay? I don't know. Anyway. But I say New York wins based on Giants. I make sure I say that. I always say New York, and then I get questions back if I don't say. Like one of the first ones of this I ever did, it wasn't officially a podcast at the time. I was just doing videos. I said New York like 3 times, and 5 or 6 people jumped on me and were like, okay, do you mean the Giants or do you mean the Jets? I keep forgetting, that's right, you guys have 2 teams. I'm talking about the team that matters. So neither of them. I'm kidding. Of the 2, the Giants are better. What I mean by that is the Jets haven't had a good team since, Brett Favre. And they haven't gone to the Super Bowl since Broadway Joe. I'm not making that stat up. I'm being 100% honest. That was the last time they went to the Super Bowl. Google it if you don't believe me. But I think the Giants beat the Niners simply because the Niners only have like 15 people on their entire roster. I'm making that up. It's more like 38 people of 53. It won't matter. Pittsburgh at San Diego. I'm going with Pittsburgh. Oh wait, where are they playing? Oh, they're at San Diego. Never mind. San Diego. I totally read that backwards and thought San Diego was in Pittsburgh. And I'm like, well, in that case, San Diego's screwed. It's supposed to be chilly. But no, I'm going to go ahead and say San Diego wins. They'll probably be behind at halftime, and Phillip Rivers will do what Phillip Rivers does and lead game-winning drive. Phillip Rivers is that good. That's what I think. Okay, so I got one surprise thing. I'll cover that in a second. First, let's quick go over the NASCAR chase thing. I know a lot of people don't like that I do this, but you know what? I want to. Because we're getting to the part where it's starting to get interesting. For people who don't like NASCAR, I will say this. The new way they chase, the way they win, the championship, is a lot better. It used to be, I watched it when I was a little kid. My dad's a huge fan. I know who most of the drivers are. I knew how it worked. It was explained to me when I was little. A lot of people, not so much. And then that's why they don't like it. They don't get what's going on. The new way it's set up, so college football went to a playoff where it's 4. And somebody in the organization of NASCAR went, why don't we try that? And so that's what they've done. They actually have names. There's the Challenger group, the Contender group, the Eliminator group, and the Championship group. So the the Challenger, is 16 drivers. They race, I believe it's 4 races. 3, it's 3. I'm looking at it right now. It's 3 races. After those 3, they look at who's got points and wins. Based on positioning wins, as I said, and a couple other factors. I don't remember all of them. And from those 16, bam, we cut down to 12. Now, we're at 12 right now. We're going to go through these 3 races. It's Charlotte, Kansas, and Talladega. After that, we're going to go down from 12 to 8, cutting down 4 each time. And then we're going to go from 8 to 4, and whoever wins at Homestead, Miami in the final 4, whoever either A, wins the race, you win the race, you win it all, or finishes ahead of the other 3, wins the championship. Pretty cool, huh? I will say this much. So last year I watched it for the first time. It's also the first time I ever did it. And it was the most exciting race I've seen in a long time. So in the Contender group, 12, it's Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Kevin Harvick. I will be perfectly honest with you. I am pulling for Jeff Gordon to win this thing because this is his last year. He's retiring after this. Well, okay. So much like with, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I know of where they do this. I'll compare it to MMA for a second. MMA, if you retire, it doesn't mean you're necessarily 100% retired. You can come back and you can fight a couple fights and then be officially done. In the case of NASCAR, they do that. They retire, and then they go, that race was fun. Oh, I like doing that one, too. I like going to that track, too. And they'll just all of a sudden, poof, come back. And they'll race 4 or 5 tracks because those ones are fun. My prime example of that is a guy named Joe Nemechek. Pretty sure Joe's still racing. I actually have one of his jackets from the Winston Cup before it became... Okay, so now it's Sprint, before it was Nextel. I have one that says Nextel too. But since Sprint bought Nextel, now it's Sprint. It's very confusing because it used to be the Nextel Cup and the Sprint Cup. Now it's Sprint, Nationwide, and Camper Truck Series. I won't go too far into this. Anyway, the race 3 races go down to 8, race 3, and then it's the last one with 4. Pretty interesting. I'm hoping Jeff pulls it off just because, like I said, it's his last year. I wouldn't mind seeing Ryan Newman pull it off either because he is in it for the second time, and I don't believe he won a race, which is pretty cool. I haven't been watching it lately, so I don't know if he won one so far in the playoff, but pretty cool. Okay. Now, I said I had a little surprise for you guys because 'tis the season, and it feels great to say this. So last night, Wednesday, October 7th, we got to see something amazing. I didn't watch it, but I mean, it's here. It's finally upon us. It's so nice to finally say this. Wednesday, October 7th, the results. Montreal 3, Toronto 1. That's right. Hockey is back. So PK Subban scored 3 points, giving Montreal a 3-1 victory over Toronto. The New York Rangers played Chicago, the Blackhawks. Hopefully they rock this year. I hate Chicago. Sorry. For my Chicago friends, it's because I'm a Detroit fan. The New York Rangers played Chicago. They beat them 3-2. Vancouver played Calgary. They won 5-1. San Jose played Los Angeles. They won 5-1. Thursday, October 8th, that'd be today. Winnipeg, if I could say that the right way, Winnipeg plays at Boston. Fuck Boston. Ottawa plays at Buffalo. Philadelphia plays at Tampa Bay. Carolina plays at Nashville. Edmonton plays at St. Louis. Pittsburgh plays at Dallas. Minnesota plays at Colorado. That's Eastern time. Winnipeg is at 7:30. Ottawa's at 7. 7 is Winnipeg. Ottawa's 7. Philadelphia is 7:30. Carolina and Nashville is at 8. Edmonton and St. Louis is on at 8. Pittsburgh's on at 8:30, and Minnesota is on at 9. If you get those channels, fantastic. Watch them. The Minnesota game is actually going to be nationally televised on NBA CSN, the sports network. That's... I'm trying to think. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there. Try and find it. It'll probably be a pretty good game. I know I'll watch it. Friday, October 9th. So great to finally say this. Toronto at Detroit. That game's on at 7:30. What a shock. Pretty much every Detroit game's on at 7:30. Most of them, anyway. The New York Rangers are playing at Columbus. Winnipeg plays at New Jersey. Chicago plays at the New York Islanders. Arizona also plays at Los Angeles. So, Toronto at Detroit. Let me quick run through a little synopsis with this. I'll go through Sunday's schedule also or Saturday, I apologize. Saturday and Sunday because I probably won't be back on until Monday. Toronto at Detroit. Why is that an important game? Well, for those of you who are hockey fans, and that should be pretty much everybody because hockey is an amazing sport. Mike Babcock used to be the Detroit, the Red Wings head coach. Most people know who Mike Babcock is. It's kind of surprising. The thing is, he's no longer with Detroit. He left. He said he wants to retire, so he went back to his original team in Toronto versus where he started, which I'm all for. I think that's awesome. Except for one problem. He signed an 8-year contract. So that means you're not ready to retire. That means you want to spend 8 more friggin' years in the league. Which is ridiculous because we'd like him to stay here. Although that's fine because now we have an amazing coach who coached at Grand Rapids, which is where I'm from. It's actually where I am currently. I plan on staying here. I love it here. And that is, if I can come up with his name, Jeff Blatchel, who is currently the head coach. I don't know why my nose is running all of a sudden. But Toronto at Detroit. Should be a great game. Saturday, October 10th. Detroit plays at Carolina. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay plays at Buffalo. Philadelphia plays at Florida. Columbus plays at the Rangers. New Jersey plays at Washington. Montreal plays at Boston. Ottawa plays at Toronto. Edmonton plays at Nashville. St. Louis plays at Minnesota. New York Islanders play at Chicago. Dallas plays at Colorado. Pittsburgh plays at Arizona. Calgary plays at Vancouver. And Anaheim plays at San Jose. Sunday, October 11th. Montreal plays at Ottawa. The next Detroit game's not until my birthday, which is the 13th. So I probably won't see that game. Well, I mean, I'll see it. I just won't see it at home. That'd be Tuesday, next Tuesday. Yeah, I'll cover the rest of those games next week. But that's right, ladies and gentlemen, hockey. The beautiful, beautiful sport of hockey is upon us. Very happy to finally say that. Love me some hockey. That's pretty much it. I'm trying to think anything else really going on. Oh, The Walking Dead comes back this Sunday. Pretty happy for that. I went and saw a movie to go with my little segment of terrible reviews. I went and saw a movie with some friends. I'm looking at the camera now because I have the camera up. You'll notice I do that a lot. I'll be looking off into space. That's me thinking. But I went and saw a movie with a friend of mine, two friends of mine actually, Axel and Christian. And the movie was called Hell and Back. And it's fucking hilarious. If you guys like, I don't want to say dark humor because it's not all dark humor. Semi-dark humor and people just being dicks to people, like humor-wise. Great back and forth. It's hilarious. I'm trying to think who else in that movie. Let me pull up the thing on Google. Okay, this is coming from the Internet Movie Database. I use the crap out of this to look up stuff. I guess you can watch movies and shit on it. I have not tried that because I'm pretty sure it's illegal. I don't know. I have Amazon for that. Or Netflix. Love me some Netflix. Thank you. So this movie has not been, and possibly for a good reason, it's not been advertised, which is kind of sad. Okay, so in it is Nick Swardson, Mila Kunis, Bob Odenkirk, DJ Miller, Rob Riggles plays one of the guys, Susan Sarandon, and Danny McBride. Hang on, I can't think of his name right now. He shows up. Oh, Michael Pena is in it as well. Yeah, he plays Dave. Is he even in the credits? I didn't see his name. He's not even in the credits. What is his name? I'm going to look this up real quick. H. John Benjamin makes a little cameo as well. The movie is hilarious. I damn near pissed myself during the movie. It is hilarious. And for those who've already seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The movie is great. There's a segment in the trailer. It's also obviously in the movie. So I'm not giving anything away. They're in an elevator. They're going through like an announcement. And it's, please remove all religious items. And if you're a nun or a priest, this is pretty ironic that you're here. Something about clean up and please clean up after yourself. Your mother doesn't live here. And if she did, that means she was a whore. And it's just fucking great. It's funny. You guys seriously would love it. It's fantastic. I damn near pissed myself. For those who have seen it and know exactly what I'm talking about, it's a root bar dough. It goes great with... Those who've seen it know exactly what I just said. Please don't post the answer to that in the comments, or I will have to delete them. Or maybe I won't. I don't know. I'll come up with it. I'll think about it. But yeah, that's our show. As always, like I said, we're brought to you because of a huge thanks to Joe Rogan and the JRE. I am not sponsored by either of these companies. His podcast is fantastic. It's available on YouTube, Ustream, and iTunes. Also brought to you as a huge thanks to Science. No crash, no jitter, sugar-free, zero-calorie deliciousness. I am drinking mango guava, and you guys have yourselves a lovely, lovely afternoon, day, night, morning, whenever it is you watch. All right.